The water heaved upward, and then she appeared, Onyiga. Tall, with skin that shimmered like water, she towered above Nnenna, her eyes glowing with ancient anger. Nnenna screamed for help, but there was no one. Her best friends had crossed the stones and left her to die. The lake swallowed Nnenna whole. But this isn't just a story about death. It is a war between human love and supernatural wrath. The village of Akamiri sat quietly between rolling hills and tall whispering palm trees, the kind of place where every sunrise felt like a blessing and every person knew the name of the next. It was peaceful, warm, and full of life. And at the heart of it was a girl named Nnenna. From the moment she stepped out each morning, villagers would call her name with affection. Nnenna, our sunshine, the elderly women would say as she passed. Children ran to her with dusty feet and bright eyes, eager for a greeting or her gentle touch on their heads. She had a way of making everyone feel seen, loved, and important. Her beauty wasn't loud. It wasn't the kind that tried to shine. It was quiet, the kind that emerged from kindness and humility. She always wore simple clothes, helping her parents at their vegetable farm, carrying firewood on her head or washing plates by the stream. Despite their poverty, her family was one of the happiest in Akamiri. Her parents, Mama Ifeoma and Papa Ekene, cherished her with a love that glowed. But in every place where light shines brightly, there are always shadows. The shadows in Akamiri took the form of three girls, Oma, Kamsi, and Ngozi. They were known for their beauty too, but theirs was a sharp beauty, the kind that demanded attention, not one that earned it. For years, they lived in the same village as Nnenna, even played with her as children. But as they grew older, something else grew alongside them. Jealousy. The kind that creeps into the heart slowly. The kind that twists smiles into grudges. The kind that smiles at you in the morning and mocks you when you walk away. To everyone else, the three girls were Nnenna's closest friends. They walked with her to the stream, helped her fetch cassava, and laughed loudly by her side. But their friendship was a costume, one they wore to hide the bitterness bubbling quietly inside their chests. They hated how everyone adored her. They hated how elders praised her. They hated how every boy smiled when she walked past. "We're invisible when she's around," Oma spat one evening as the three sat behind her father's compound. "It's as if she was born to outshine us," Kamsi added, arms crossed. Ngozi plucked at the grass with shaking fingers. "But we can fix that." The three shared a look, a dark understanding passing through their eyes. Days passed. Soon, word spread across Akamiri that the neighboring village of Umuohia was holding its yearly festival. An event filled with dancing, food, music, and young men from faraway places. It was one of the biggest celebrations of the season, and everyone looked forward to it. Everyone except Nnenna's parents. One night after dinner, Mama Ifeoma sat beside her daughter and took her hand. "My child," she said gently, "do not cross the water this year. The journey is too dangerous." Papa Eken nodded, his face serious. "Udu Lake is not ordinary water. You know the stories, Nnenna. Those who cross must return with an offering for Onyiga, the river spirit. Your mother and I don't want you going." Nnenna smiled softly. "Papa, Mama, I hear you. I won't go." But she didn't know that Oma, Kamsi, and Ngozi had already decided that she would. The girls suddenly became extra attentive, visiting every day, laughing more loudly than usual, talking about how fun the festival would be and how they all simply had to go together. Nnenna resisted. She didn't want to disobey her parents, but the thought of spending a day with her friends, exploring a new village, seeing dancers and performers, it made her heart tingle a little. And the three girls knew exactly how to use that. One sunny morning, they arrived at her home earlier than usual, wearing their brightest wrappers and biggest smiles. "Nnenna," they chorused. "Come, let's go to the festival. We will all go and return together." Nnenna shook her head. "I can't," my parents said. "We'll help you finish your chores." Kamsi interrupted. "We'll stay by your side the whole time." Ngozi added. "It's safe," Oma insisted, her smile wide but her eyes chillingly cold. Nnenna hesitated. She didn't want to disappoint her parents, but she was touched by her friend's excitement. Besides, she reasoned, maybe her parents were just being overprotective. What harm could one small festival cause? So she agreed. The girls worked quickly, helping her finish chores with fake laughter and exaggerated kindness. The whole time, Oma kept glancing at the small bag she carried, which held her secret offering for the river spirit. Kamsi and Ngozi had theirs too. Nnenna, of course, had nothing. When the chores were done, the four set off on the long, winding path through the hills. Birds chirped above them, and the sun sat high and warm in the sky. Nnenna felt excitement bubbling inside her. She had never traveled this far from home before. But every time she laughed, Oma's smile stiffened. Every time she hummed a tune, Kamsi's face hardened. Every time she skipped happily ahead, Ngozi's eyes darkened. Finally, they arrived at the banks of Udu Lake. The water was still. Too still. So still that even the wind seemed to fear touching it. Nnenna whispered, "Why does it look like that?" "Don't worry about it," Oma said quickly. "Just follow us." They stepped onto the narrow stones leading across the lake. Nnenna struggled a bit, her hands trembling as she balanced. But the girls moved forward with ease. They had crossed this water many times. But not once did they mention the rules she needed to know. Not once did they warn her. Not once did they care. As they reached the other side, a strange shiver ran down Nnenna's spine, but she brushed it off. The girls were laughing loudly again, brushing dust off their wrappers and fixing their head ties. "Come on," Kamsi said. "Let's go enjoy ourselves." And with that, the four girls walked toward the sound of drums and distant music. The betrayal had already begun. The moment Nnenna stepped into Umuohia, her eyes widened with wonder. The festival grounds were overflowing with life. Bright colors, loud drums, swirling dancers, and the mouth-watering scent of roasted plantain and peppered meat drifting everywhere. Children ran between stalls, men played ojin drums, women sold carved masks and beaded jewelry. It was more beautiful than anything she had imagined. "It's wonderful," Nnenna whispered. But her friends didn't smile. In fact, they watched her too closely, waiting. As they walked through the crowd, something unexpected happened. People began turning to look at Nnenna. Not because she was dressed richly, but because something about her presence drew them in. Her gentle eyes, her quiet smile, her grace. Young men stared openly, whispering to each other. Some even tried approaching her, asking her name, greeting her shyly. Kamsi's jaw clenched, Oma's fists tightened. Ngozi's face twisted with annoyance. But Nnenna didn't notice any of it. She was too busy enjoying the music. Then she bumped into someone. A young man with eyes warm like sunset and a smile that seemed to melt the noise of the festival. "Are you all right?" he asked softly. Nnenna nodded shyly. "Yes, I'm sorry. I didn't see you." "I'm Obiora," he said, offering his hand. She hesitated, then took it. His grip was warm, reassuring. "I haven't seen you at this festival before," he added. "Are you new to Umuohia? My friends brought me," she replied, her cheeks warm. Obiora's smile widened. "Would you like to walk with me? I can show you the most beautiful parts of the festival." She didn't know why, but she felt safe with him. Seen. Cherished. "Yes," she said softly. Behind her, Oma's face twisted in rage. Obiora and Nnenna walked through the festival, laughing softly, watching acrobats and drummers. He bought her a small bead bracelet and placed it gently around her wrist. "You have a beautiful heart," he said. Her face grew warm. She looked away. But the moment was shattered. Across the crowd, Nnenna suddenly saw two familiar figures, her parents. Her stomach dropped. "Mama? Papa?" she whispered. Mama Ifeoma looked furious. Papa Ikime's face was set like stone. "Nnenna," he barked. "What are you doing here?" The crowd turned to stare. "Mama, Papa?" "Hi. We told you not to come." Mama Ifeoma scolded, her voice shaking with fear and anger. "Do you know how dangerous this journey is?" "I'm sorry," Nnenna whispered, tears forming. "I didn't mean to disobey." Oma, Kamsi, and Ngozi arrived quickly, pretending concern. "Mama Ifeoma, she wandered off from us." Oma lied, placing a hand on her chest dramatically. "We were looking for her," Kamsi added. Ngozi nodded silently, biting back a smile. Papa Ekene barely looked at them. "Go home now, Nnenna." Immediately. Nnenna lowered her head, ashamed. Obiora stepped forward. "Sir, please don't be angry with her." Papa Ekene glared at him. "And who are you?" Obiora bowed slightly. "Just someone who admires her kindness." But Nnenna was already walking away, her heart heavy. The three girls followed behind her. But their smiles had changed. Instead of fake cheerfulness, they now carried a deep, satisfied darkness. The festival hadn't gone how they wanted, but now they had something better. A frightened Nnenna eager to return home. Their plan was perfectly timed. The sun was already lowering as they walked toward Udu Lake. The path was silent except for Nnenna's steady breaths. Her mind replayed her parents' scolding, the disappointment in their eyes, the embarrassment of being caught. She didn't notice the dangerous glances her friends exchanged. When they reached the lake, the air grew thick, heavy, wrong. But Nnenna was too lost in guilt to sense it. Oma stepped forward and opened her small bag. "Let's give our offerings before crossing." Kamsi and Gozi did the same. Nnenna frowned. "Offerings?" They smirked. "You mean you didn't bring yours?" Gozi asked sweetly. I didn't know I was supposed to." Nnenna said, her voice cracking. They laughed. Oma clutched her food to her chest. "Sorry, Nnenna. We only brought for ourselves. Maybe next time you'll think ahead," Kamsi added with a shrug. Gozi stepped away from her. "Good luck." Nnenna's heart began pounding. "Please, I didn't know. I'm begging you. Just a little piece." "No," they said together. And then they crossed, leaving her alone. The surface of Udu Lake darkened instantly. A cold wind blew, and Nnenna realized this was not water she should be standing beside. The betrayal had only just begun. The sky above Udu Lake was shifting. What had been a peaceful blue when they left for the festival was now a thick mixture of gray and fading gold. The last light of the setting sun danced uncertainly on the water's surface, like it too sensed something was wrong. Nnenna stood frozen where her friends had abandoned her, her hands shaking violently. Her heart hammered painfully against her chest as if warning her to run, to flee, to do anything except remain where she stood. But her body refused to move. "Oma, Kamsi, Ngozi," she shouted desperately. "Please, don't leave me here." The three girls were already halfway across the narrow stones. They didn't turn, didn't slow, didn't feel an ounce of remorse. In fact, they were smiling. "Please." Nnenna cried again, her voice cracking. "I didn't know about the offering. Just give me a little part of yours. Please." Kamsi turned slightly, her face hard. "We can't help you. If the spirit punishes you, that is your own fault." Ngozi nodded. "We told you to come with us. We never told you to come empty-handed." Oma's voice carried across the water like a knife. "If you cannot return, then stay there." And with that final blow, they stepped off the last stone and onto the land at the far side of the lake. They didn't look back. Nnenna fell to her knees, sobbing. She wasn't thinking about spirits anymore. She was thinking about her parents. The disappointment on Papa's face, the fear in Mama's voice. She had disobeyed them. She had caused all this. "I just want to go home," she whispered, hugging herself tightly. But home was beginning to feel impossibly far away. A cold hush fell suddenly over the lake. The wind died. The trees stopped rustling. Even the frogs and crickets went silent. It was as if the entire world was holding its breath. Nnenna looked up slowly. The lake, once calm, began to swirl in slow, unnatural circles. A low, rumbling sound rose from its depths, like the growl of a creature waking after centuries of sleep. Nnenna stumbled backward, trembling violently. "Please, no, please." The water heaved upward. And then she appeared. Onyiga, the river spirit. Her form was both beautiful and horrifying. Tall, with skin that shimmered like water, eyes that glowed blue-green, and long hair that flowed like a river current. Her lower body disappeared into swirling waves. Jewelry of shells and pearls clinked softly around her arms. She towered above Nnenna, her expression cold with ancient anger. "Who dares return without my tribute?" Her voice boomed, echoing like thunder inside Nnenna's bones. The girl collapsed fully, shaking uncontrollably. I didn't know," she cried. "My friends, they didn't tell me. Please, I didn't know." Onyiga's eyes narrowed. Ignorance does not excuse disrespect. Nnenna's tears streamed freely. "Please, please, I beg you. I want to go home. I didn't mean any harm, but the spirit wasn't listening. Every soul must pay a price, Onyiga declared, for crossing my waters, for disturbing my realm, for breaking the ancient rule. Her form grew even larger. Your life belongs to the river. No, Nnenna screamed, scrambling backward. Please, have mercy. Please, I beg you. But the water surged forward, grabbing her ankles with icy tendrils. She screamed as she was yanked closer to the edge. No, please, help. Someone please help me. But there was no one. Her friends were far gone. Her parents were too far to hear. The forest remained silent. Onyiga extended her arm, and the water obeyed like a loyal servant. Your tears cannot save you. The lake swallowed Nnenna whole. Her scream was cut off by a rush of water. She struggled, clawing upward, but the river tugged her deeper, deeper, deeper into its cold, unforgiving darkness. The last thing she saw before losing consciousness was the faint glow of Onyiga's eyes watching her sink. Then darkness claimed her completely. The night Nnenna disappeared, Akamiri fell into chaos. Mama Ifeoma cried until her voice cracked, running from house to house, begging for help. Papa Ikene searched every path with a lantern in hand. Elders were called. Youths joined the search. Drums were struck to gather the community. But no one could find her, and her 3 friends, sitting quietly in Oma's compound, exchanged glances of satisfaction. It's done, Oma whispered. Let's never speak of it again, Nosy muttered, but the universe was listening. And karma never sleeps. 2 days later, a strange sight appeared at the edge of the forest. A wounded parrot, limping, feathers half wet, eyes filled with something almost human. It perched on the branch of an old orange tree near the village square. Then it began to sing. But the song was not ordinary. It was broken, mournful, trembling. Water took her. Water took the girl. Betrayal crossed the stones. Friends carried offerings. One girl had none. Water spirit rose. The innocent sank. People gathered in shock. The bird repeated the words, more urgently. Mama Ifeoma collapsed to her knees. My baby is alive. Somewhere. Papa Ekene clenched his fists. We will go to the lake. All of us. A great anger rose within the villagers. Oma, Kamsi, and Gozi tried to slip away quietly, but the parrot's eyes followed them. And then it sang again. 3 girls laughed. 3 girls crossed. 3 girls betrayed. The crowd turned on them sharply. The truth was out. The betrayal was exposed. And the village prepared to face the spirit of the lake. Together. The entire village of Akamiri gathered at the bank of Udu Lake before dawn. The sky was still a deep indigo, but the people carried lanterns that lit the water's surface in trembling patches of gold. A heavy tension hung in the air. Everyone could feel that they were standing on the edge of something ancient and dangerous. Mama Ifeoma clutched Nnenna's wrapper to her chest, tears streaming freely. Papa Ekene held a staff in one hand and a bottle of palm oil in the other. A peace offering, though he knew it might not be enough. The wounded parrot perched on his shoulder, silent now, as if saving the last of its strength for what was to come. Elders stood behind them, murmuring prayers. Youths stood with machetes and torches, though deep down they knew no weapon could fight a spirit. Even the children had been brought to witness, because this was not just a rescue mission. It was history. It was a war between human love and supernatural wrath. As dawn's first light began to touch the sky, Papa Ekene stepped to the water's edge and called out boldly, Onyiga, River Mother, Spirit of the Deep, we call on you. Return our daughter to us. The lake rippled. Mama Ifeoma fell to her knees. Please, please bring back my child. I will give anything, even my life. Her cries tore through the silent forest. The air thickened. The ground trembled. The water began to swirl, forming a spiral that glowed faintly from beneath. Then she rose, Onyiga, towering above the lake in all her terrifying beauty, her eyes burning brighter than before. The villagers gasped and backed away. Even the bravest hunters trembled. But Papa Ekene stood firm. Mighty Spirit, he said, bowing, we come with humility. We come with love. Please, return our daughter. Onyiga's eyes glowed a deep ocean blue. Your daughter broke the sacred rule. She crossed my water and brought no tribute. She belongs to me now." Mama Ifeoma wailed. She didn't know. She was deceived. The crowd murmured angrily, eyes shifting toward Oma, Kamsi, and Ngozi, who were now shaking violently at the back of the group. Onyiga's voice rose like thunder. "Ignorance does not erase the law." Papa Ekene stepped forward boldly. "Then tell us, Great Spirit, how do we save her?" Onyiga paused. Her expression shifted, just slightly. Something ancient stirring behind her gaze. A memory. A wound. A longing. A longing. She raised her arm, and lake surged behind her like a living creature. "Cross this water," she said coldly. "Without a boat. Without a bridge. Without magic. Without help." A gasp rippled through the villagers. "Cross it," Onyiga repeated, her voice echoing across the hills. "If you reach the far side alive, your daughter shall go free." Mama Ifeoma's eyes widened. "We will drown." Onyiga's gaze was merciless. "Then let your love be stronger than my river." The challenge hung in the air like a death sentence. But before the elders could protest, Papa Ikeni reached for his wife's hand. "We will do it." Mama Ifeoma stared at him, trembling. "Ikeni, we will die." "No," he said softly, placing a hand on her cheek. "We will fight." For her. And that was all. Together, they stepped forward. The villagers began to pray loudly, calling on every ancestor they knew. Drums beat at a furious pace. The wounded parrot flew into the air, circling above them like a spiritual guide. Papa Iken stepped into the water first. It was freezing. So cold it felt like knives stabbing into his skin. Mama Ifeoma followed, gasping. The currents pulled at them instantly. The water dragged at their legs. The deeper they went, the stronger the river became. Onyiga watched with an unreadable expression. "Hold on," someone shouted from the shore. But help was forbidden. Every step felt like a battle. The water rose to their waists, then to their chests, then to their necks. Mama Ifeoma screamed as a wave slammed into her, dragging her backward. Papa Ikeni grabbed her hand, fighting to keep her above the surface. "Don't let go," he cried. "I'm scared," she sobbed. "So am I," he whispered. "But we must go on." Another wave crashed over them, forcing them under. The villagers screamed. Papa Ekene resurfaced, coughing violently, dragging his wife with him. Just a little farther, just a little more. They fought, and fought, and fought. But the river was ancient. The river was merciless. The river wanted them dead. Just when Mama Ifeoma slipped beneath the surface again, the wind rose. Not a normal wind. A wind that moved in a circle around them, parting the water slightly. A wind that lifted them just enough to keep them from sinking. A wind that whispered like 1,000 ancestors speaking at once. "Go." The villagers fell to their knees in awe. Onyiga's expression shifted in shock. Papa Ikeni felt the water lighten around them. Mama Ifeoma felt herself being carried forward by something unseen. Step by step, wave by wave, breath by breath, they crossed. When they reached the far side of the lake, collapsing onto the sand, Onyiga's face softened for the first time. She descended slowly, her voice quiet. "Your love is greater than my curse." Behind her, the water opened like a doorway. And Nnenna stepped out. Weak, pale, barely conscious, but alive. Mama Ifeoma screamed her daughter's name and rushed forward, gathering her into her arms, sobbing uncontrollably. Papa Ekene knelt beside them, tears falling freely. The villagers erupted into cries of joy, dancing and singing on the shores. But happiness turned to fury when they turned toward Oma, Kamsi, and Ngozi. The truth had been revealed, and justice had come. For days after her rescue, Nnenna drifted between sleep and waking. Sometimes she cried softly in her dreams, whispering, "Please, don't let her take me." Other times she jolted awake, gasping, clutching her mother's wrapper. Mama Ifeoma never left her side. Papa Ekene stayed close too, praying day and night. The villagers visited, bringing food and gifts, praising God and the ancestors for their miracle. Even the parrot perched near the window, keeping a silent watch over her. But despite the joy of her return, anger simmered beneath the surface. Oma, Kamsi, and Ngozi had been captured the same night. The village elders held them in a secluded hut while they investigated. Everyone knew the truth, but tradition demanded formal judgment. 3 days after Nnenna awoke fully, the elders called a village assembly. The entire community gathered under the large udara tree near the square. The girls were brought forward, trembling. Their faces were swollen from crying. Their wrappers were dusty. They couldn't lift their heads. Elder Okonkwo stepped forward, leaning on his carved staff. Nnenna, child of Akamiri, come forward. Nnenna approached slowly, supported by her parents. Okonkwo's voice was deep. Tell us what happened. She inhaled shockily. They left me by the lake. They didn't tell me about the offering. They refused to share theirs. They crossed the stones and left me to die. Oma burst into tears. We didn't know the spirit would take her. Nosy sobbed. We didn't mean for it to go that far. Kamsi whispered, we were jealous. The crowd gasped at the honesty. Elder Okonkwo's face hardened. Your envy nearly killed an innocent girl. And it brought a curse upon us all. The villagers roared in agreement. Mama Ifeoma shouted through tears, do you know what I suffered? Do you know what my daughter endured? The elders raised their hands for silence. We must pass judgment. Tradition required punishment. Deep punishment. But something unexpected happened. Nnenna raised her hand. The crowd turned to her in confusion. She wiped her tears and faced her former friends. Your jealousy hurt me. It nearly ended my life. But I don't want you to die. I don't want you to suffer forever. Gasps filled the air. Mama Ifeoma whispered, Nnenna, are you sure? She nodded. If I forgive, then maybe Onyiga will forgive too. Elder Okonkwo's eyes softened. Child, your spirit is stronger than anything we have seen. After a long deliberation, the elders declared the punishment. The girls would be banished from Akamiri for 7 years. They would work in the neighboring villages to repay their debt. After 7 years, they could return only if Nnenna herself permitted it. The judgment was final. As the girls were led away crying, Nnenna's heart ached. Not from pity, but from the deep understanding that jealousy destroys more than love. It destroys the soul. Weeks passed before Nnenna regained her full strength. But something inside her remained unsettled. One morning, she approached her parents. I need to go back to the lake. Papa Ekine nearly fainted. What? Mama Ifeoma shouted. Never again. Nnenna shook her head gently. Not to cross. I need to thank Onyiga. She spared me. And I think she is hurting. Her parents exchanged a stunned glance. But deep down, they understood their daughter's heart. So they agreed. Nnenna returned to Udu Lake with her parents and a few elders. She carried a basket of fruits, palm oil, and kola nut, the proper offering. She stood at the water's edge and whispered, Onyiga, River Mother, please speak with me. The lake rippled softly. Then Onyiga rose once more. Not in fury, not in power, but in sorrow. Her glow was dimmer. Her shoulders bowed. Her voice, when she spoke, trembled. You came back after all I did to you. Nnenna stepped forward. Onyiga, I want to thank you for giving me back to my parents. Onyiga looked away. Your love defeated me. Your parents, their sacrifice broke through what no one had broken in centuries. Her voice cracked. I was once like you, a maiden, a daughter, a woman who trusted the wrong people. Were you betrayed? Nnenna asked gently. Onyiga nodded, tears spilling like drops of water. I loved a man. He swore he loved me, but he sacrificed me to gain power. My body died, but my spirit stayed bound to this river. I punished others, because no one ever fought for me the way your parents fought for you. Nnenna's own tears fell. Let us help you. Her parents gasped. Nnenna. But she continued boldly. You don't deserve to suffer forever. Your story should not end with pain. Onyiga stared at her, trembling. But how? Nnenna turned to the elders. Call the chief priest. Call the entire village. Let us break her curse. The next day, the villagers gathered with the chief priest, who performed ancient rites. Drums beat steadily. Incense burned brightly. Prayers rose into the sky. As the final chant echoed through the valley, a wave of light burst from the lake. Onyiga cried out, not in pain, but in release. Her form shimmered, breaking apart into thousands of glowing particles that floated upward like fireflies. "Thank you," her voice whispered. Then she was gone. Peace fell over the lake for the first time in centuries. In the months that followed, life in Akamiri flourished. The crops grew taller. The rains fell softly. Even the animals seemed happier. Obiora returned one day, searching for Nnenna. When he saw her, his smile was the same warm glow she remembered. "You survived," he said softly, taking her hand. "Yes," she whispered back. "I survived." Their bond grew naturally, gently, beautifully, born not from fantasy, but from shared destiny. And as the village celebrated their growing love, they also honored the lessons Nnenna's journey had taught them. That jealousy is a poison. That love is a weapon. That sacrifice can move mountains. And that even the deepest curses can be broken. Nnenna became a symbol in Akamiri, a symbol of kindness, a symbol of courage, a symbol of mercy. And the girl who was once betrayed became the girl who healed an entire village. What did you get to learn from this story? Kindly drop your thoughts and questions below. Do well to hit the subscribe button to see more emotional and exciting stories like this on Afrotales by Siri.